Hey guys, it's Chaos Legend. I know it's been a little while. Had a little problem getting myself a new mic for a while. I went and bought one, and the box had mic specifications, but it didn't have a mic, so that was fun. I had to go get a refund and get a new one. Anyway, mostly I'm just lazy, so whatever. So I'm going to talk about limited draft specifically with Worldwake. It's going to go through the whole set and talk about where I think you should be picking each card and what kind of decks and all that kind of stuff, and whether something's good or not. So we'll just start with white and go down the list. We've got a Admonition Angel here, 6 for the 6/6 flying landfall. Exile a non-land permanent other than Admonition every time you want to do that. And then when Admonition Angel leaves play, you've got to return all the exiled cards. Not sure why that was necessary. But obviously a ridiculous card in limited. You're not going to know that you're going to get it until the last pack, so you can't really build around it if you get it. But definitely play it in most white decks, or really any white deck, and adjust your mana accordingly. I'd probably want to play 19 lands in most decks with this card, but obviously ridiculous. And that's mostly because I'm a fan of playing a high number of lands in Zendikar in general. Play 19 lands a lot, or 19 sources a lot, and usually do quite well. Apex Hawks here. 2 and a white for a 2/2 flying with multi-kicker, colorless and white. Enters the battlefield with a +1/+1. You know what? I'm not going to read all the cards. You can go to the visual spoiler on the website and you can read them. I'll just tell you whether I think it's good or not. So Apex Hawks, right? It's pretty ridiculous, especially at a common. At 3, it's a what is it for 3? Windrake. 2/2 flyer for 3, and then it just gets bigger and bigger. The ability to be able to drop it like on turn 7 as a 4/4 is really nice. This guy's really good. It's probably one of the best white creatures. At common. You've got Archon of Redemption here. Gains you 4 life when it comes into play, and then any more flyers come into play, you gain more life. It's a ridiculous bomb. In some sense, it may actually be better in limited than the Admonition Angel, because you're going to be able to cast it more often. I mean, every once in a while you're going to drop Admonition Angel, and they're just going to have enough guys to run you over. Redemption is going to stop that a lot faster. So, yeah, take it over removal, definitely. Thing's ridiculous. And if, there shouldn't really be anything else in the pack if you're in white. Just take it, play it, regardless. Battle Herda, 5 for a 3/3 for a strike. Pretty retarded artwork. Really not a fan of this little leg thing. It's really cartoony. Anyway, he's definitely a solid white creature. It's not amazing, but in a format that's so aggressive, I think he's better than he usually would be, because a lot of times your opponent's just going to have a lot of 2 and 3 toughness and 1 toughness guys, and he's just going to dominate the board. Really hard to block. Just depends on how heavy your curve is. You don't want too many high casting cost guys. But white doesn't have that many good 5-drops, so he'll be pretty good. I wouldn't take him too high. I mean, he's not as good as Apex Hawks, obviously. He's not as good as any of these other guys. He's not as good as Fledgling Griffin, but he's in there. Then Fledgling Griffin. It's the landfall gains flying, so 2 for a 2/2 flying when you drop a land. Certainly really good. Play as many as you get, obviously, and probably better than Surikar Marauder, and that guy gets played a lot. So yeah, definitely. one of the higher creatures to take. Fledgling Griffin versus Apex Hawks, I think is pretty close actually. It depends on your curve. Um, in general, I'd probably just go for the Apex Hawks, but they're both really good. In a super aggro deck, maybe you want the Fledgling Griffin if you don't have a lot of 2-drops yet, you know, and you've got a lot of 3-drops. So I think that's mostly when you would take the Griffin over it, is if you really need the 2-drops. Guardian Zendikon makes one of your lands a wall, a 2/6 wall. It's a big wall, that's for sure. At least during your opponent's turn, you get to leave the land untapped, so you can use instants or whatever. Not too big a fan. It's sideboard, I think, only. I don't think I'd play it in the main deck. It's got 4 mana for a 2/6 wall that takes away one of your lands. Yeah, usually not going to want to play it. Sometimes it'll be amazing, so, I mean, board it in, yeah. But I wouldn't take it very highly, certainly. Add a Free Blade. If you've got a lot of allies, obviously he's amazing. If you don't have a lot of allies, he sucks. I'd want at least, like, 5 other allies to be playing this guy. And then after that he starts to get really, really good. If you have, like, 10 allies, this guy's, pretty amazing. Constructed, he'll be really good. Anyway. But, he's uncommon, so you don't see that many of them. Now, Iona's Judgment, 5 mana to exile a creature or enchantment. Gets rid of any creature and it exiles them, so that's nice.